Merrimack TV content may no longer be available on YouTube. To continue watching our programs, please download the Merrimack TV app from your device's app store. Programs may also be available at merrimacktv.com.
It is now 6:30. I hereby call this meeting to order. Do I have to say of the Conservation Commission? Today, July 28th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. New business? That's right. Danielle, can you please sit in the place of Ellen? And Steve, can you take the place of Gage today?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Yes.
So noted for the minutes. New business. We have, how do you introduce new business? Just say. Okay. Mast Road LLC, review for recommendations to the planning board regarding site plan to construct a 19,200 plus or minus square foot contractors building along with associated site improvements at 8 Crow's Nest Circle in the industrial and aquifer conservation districts. Can you please state your name, and if you are not a resident, please state your business association for the record?
Good evening, members of the commission.
And can you make sure the light is on? Sometimes
Light's
it
on.
looks like it's on, but it's
Yep,
not.
I think I'm good to go.
Okay, definitely on.
Good evening, members of the commission. Thank you for coming out on this delightfully balmy night. For the record, my name is Ethan Beals. I'm a project manager at Hayner Swanson, civil engineering and land surveying firm located at 3 Congress Street in Nashua, New Hampshire. Here tonight representing the applicant and seeking the commission's recommendation to the planning board for a proposed contractor's yard project. As previously read into the record, there is a building component to it, but the most important part of the overall project is that it is a contractor's yard. If it is okay with the commission, I'll quickly present the project and then would be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. So the subject, I'll just switch over to the master site plan. Subject property is known to the Merrimack Assessor's Department as map 2D, lot 21-2, and measures about 16.2 acres in size. It has frontage both along Mast Road, but more importantly for access along Crow's Nest Circle, and is located in Merrimack's I-1 Industrial Zoning District. The lot is abutted by Mast Road. I'll move my cursor to highlight them. Mast Road to the south, an industrial development to the east, town-owned conservation land to the west, and then just this little piece up here is the southern tip of the Anheuser-Busch property. Importantly to note also, wetlands make up just about the western half, give or take. If you follow my cursor along, this is the delineated wetlands that were then field located by our office of the property. In general, topography on the site is generally flat with a gentle slope from the east towards the on-site wetlands over to the west. A few years ago, a smaller contractor's yard was designed and permitted on the subject property, but for discussion tonight, it is proposed to construct an expanded contractor's yard that also includes about a 19,200 square foot contractor's building. The majority of the property, including the building, will be used for equipment or material storage, equipment, material, or landscaping supplies. There will be an area behind the building. I'll call it behind the building if you're looking at it from Crow's Nest, that will be used for material processing and storage, and the storage of landscaping supplies, which was approved as part of that original project that I had just mentioned. Importantly to note, and perhaps the most important thing tonight, this is not a for public, or this is not a customer-facing contractor's yard. So you and I as homeowners wouldn't go here and purchase bark mulcher, landscaping supplies, plantings, all of those other pieces. The contractor's yard is not open to the public. All the equipment, materials, and landscaping supplies are for use for the property owner, who is a local landscaping contractor. Additionally, a small piece of this project And part of the newer project, if you will, compared to the original version, we are proposing 25 tractor trailer spaces, as I'm circling right now. Interestingly enough, those will actually be leased to outside parties. It had become, over the course of the property owner owning this property, he's become aware of a number of people who drive larger tractor trailers and really need somewhere to store them for anywhere from weeks to months, even a year at a time, because you can't simply take a tractor trailer and park it on your residential property. And so there's a little bit of a market for that in southern New Hampshire, and he thought that would be a good use of this space. In terms of the building itself, the proposed building will be serviced by water, by Pennachuck Waterworks, underground electric, and an individual sewage disposal septic system. Given proximity to the on-site wetlands, again previously mentioned to the west, the other more important part of this project is updating and upgrading the stormwater management features on the site, which I will scroll to our site grading plan, sorry. The goal of the stormwater management design is to provide both quantitative and qualitative treatment of stormwater runoff. The existing site does have a smaller, in kind of this general vicinity, smaller existing stormwater management feature, which is really along the project limits in between the project and the on-site wetlands. The updated project will expand the existing stormwater infrastructure on the site. First, a large, and it is lightly shaded on the screen, I'll follow my cursor with it right here. A large section of porous pavement will be installed along the entire westerly project limits along the paved and graveled areas. The porous pavement area will have two functions. First, it will collect all the stormwater surface runoff from the rest of the property, and then it will provide filtration treatment as runoff passes vertically through the filter media under the pavement. Runoff that doesn't then infiltrate into the underlying ground will be collected via a system of underdrains and will be discharged into the surface stormwater basin, which I had just mentioned. The existing surface basin will be expanded to the north, where my cursor is, and slightly regraded. Additionally, all of the sediment and debris that has accumulated in the bottom of that practice will be removed. Some additional minor grading will take place, and it will be replanted and seeded with vegetation to improve the treatment and infiltration capabilities. The combination of the porous pavement and the surface infiltration basin result in a compliant treatment practice that both treats qualitatively the runoff leaving the site and reduces the amount, the quantity of runoff leaving the site in the post-development condition when comparing it to the pre-development condition. Importantly, in this vein, the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, NHDES Alteration of Terrain, AOT, has signed off on the project and has issued an AOT permit in this past month. Before I wrap up my presentation, two other pieces of information that I think may be interesting to the Commission. First, as part of the original project, and it carries through in a note on the master site plan, but any salt that gets, if salt does get stored on the site, any salt that gets stored on the site will need to be done so in an enclosure. That was a condition of the original approval, and that condition will carry, we anticipate that condition carrying through today. And second, as with just about any project in the Merrimack Aquifer Protection District, the project prohibits the storage of snow, which contains any de-icing chemicals, and requires all winter maintenance for the property to be performed by a Green Snow Pro certified contractor. At this point, albeit a little bit of an abbreviated presentation, but I tried to hit on the points that I thought would be interesting to the Commission. But at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
There's mention of mulch in a few different areas. I'm just assuming there's no hay involved. There'll be straw or wood chip it mentioned, but.
So two kind of different pieces. I'm not sure where exactly you're talking about. When we talk about mulch, sometimes we're talking, given the contractor's yard, sometimes
right,
we're
I'm talking about where it mentions
like
you'll be reseeding certain areas.
Yeah, so correct. Mulch, sometimes we call it erosion control mix berm. Some of those are used interchangeably, or really an erosion control management piece that are a little bit more detailed in the erosion control plans. but you are correct.
Okay, so no hay will be used?
Correct.
Just a couple of questions. One of the blueprints showed containers. I assume they're 30-yard containers. Are those part of just while the construction's going on, or are they permanent there? And if so, what are they used for?
So I don't know, are you talking about this kind of earth material storage bin area?
Actually showing, let's see. No, it was a... Yeah, it showed the proposed contractor's yard and the location of the gravel.
Oh, on the existing
Yeah,
condition.
the paved areas,
So
the concrete.
those, sorry to interrupt. That's an existing condition that's on the site today. In lieu of the building, I think there's some bigger storage containers that are currently on the site that is used to store some of that equipment. So I believe those to be some larger storage containers, because we don't currently have a building on the
Right,
site.
okay, they would go away. And I guess that leads me kind of, I asked that question because, I guess the follow-up to that is there going to be landscaping chemicals stored here? Will those be in the building, or?
Yeah, so any landscaping chemicals, if you will, or anything that would easily be, if it got rained on and would be incorporated then into
Yeah.
the runoff, will 100% be undercover. There's no question about that. The exact details of what will be stored and where are not yet finalized. The order of operations, if you will, of this project are first and foremost hopefully, if
Yeah.
we're so lucky, get our approvals, both a recommendation from you and then to the planning board. And then our client would like to start on the stormwater management improvements to really get that basin, hopefully during the growing season, because the vegetation is as important as anything in the long-term
Right.
maintenance and operation of those stormwater features. But get those stormwater management improvements constructed and up to date, get the rest of the site more or less built out, and then at which point it'll be kind of a decision on when exactly to build that building and what gets stored in it. If you were to drive by the site today, you're very clearly going to see a whole bunch of equipment, anything from dump trucks, pickup trucks, excavators, front-end loaders, all of that stuff is stored on the site today.
Mhm.
There's some security components built into the plans, fencing, the equipment being locked and all that good stuff. But clearly the intent is any hazardous waste and hazardous chemicals won't be stored here, but any landscaping chemicals, pesticides, all that good stuff would be stored undercover as is required.
Okay.
Sorry, long
Yeah,
answer to a
No,
quick
that's
question.
exactly what I was looking for. I just want, if it's not known yet exactly
Yep.
what it is, herbicides, pesticides, just want to make sure if it's inside, it's got
Yep.
the appropriate secondary containments or whatever, which I think is probably required by licenses.
Yeah,
but-
both required and honestly desired, because if you're paying a lot of money for chemicals, you don't want them just to be washed away.
Right.
So it works on both sides of the coin, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you clarify enclosed salt storage bin? Does it have, like, fully enclosed? Or does it have, like, because in the picture, like, these earth material bins are open, right?
Yep.
They're like I've seen them. So if you're enclosing the salt storage bin, it's more than just a fence. It's like.
Yeah, no, correct. Yeah, so that was, I can't definitively say that we're going to be storing salt on this site. We may not. As part of the original approval process a couple years ago, staff had asked that question about salt storage and would salt be stored on the site. And not wanting us to limit the potential to store salt, we included some specific language about it needing to be enclosed. And so, yes, the other earth material storage bins on the plan are those typical big concrete blocks where if you as a resident were to go to a landscape supply store and pick up bark mulch, you'll see they're different colors and there's big blocks in between that define the bins. And then if you move over to the intent of the salt storage bin is it would have to have a roof. It would likely have some components of sides at least, but the front of it would be open. But any salt storage, it's the same thing with kind of pesticides, is you really don't want rain to hit it and for it to run off, and vice versa. Those things will harden up. If a big pile of salt will harden up really quickly and quickly become unmanageable. So yes, it's more enclosed than simply a three-sided structure. The intent would be for it to have a roof at least.
And DES has gone through this. Did they raise any concerns about the tractor-trailer parking in terms of fuel water separators, or because there's none of that in the drainage?
Nope, they did not. AOT took a deep look at what we were proposing from a stormwater management point of view. We went back and forth a couple times on a few different design parameters, but very clearly we have a compliant stormwater management treatment practice. To get really technical, we're actually providing almost a double treatment, if you will, both filtration, the filter media under the porous pavement, and then infiltration are both compliant treatment practices. And so we have what we like to call a boot and suspenders approach, where we have one that then discharges to the second one for some additional treatment, some final cleansing, if you will, before then it would discharge into the wetlands if we got some of those big storm events.
The total impervious surface actually is reduced through this? Did you outline you're removing some of the paved surfaces? Or?
I would have to double check that. I don't remember where that language came from, to be honest.
Okay.
It doesn't sound correct to me as we sit here today. We are slightly maybe pulling back some lines here or there, but very clearly the vast majority of what I'll call the upland portion of the site, so the non-wetland portion, is being developed. It will be impervious, if not necessarily pavement, but the whole rear couple acres of gravel is, for lack of a better term, considered impervious. So I don't believe that is correct, that we're reducing, but the majority of the site is intended with this plan to be impervious, whether it be gravel or paved.
That's all the questions I have.
For the filter media under the porous asphalt, is there like a longevity component to? Oh, thanks. For the filter media, is there like a longevity to the effectiveness of the ability to filter over a period of time?
So there. I feel like all my answers are longer answers than perhaps you guys are asking for. There's not a specific timeline. I can't sit here and say, hey, this filter media is good for 10 years. This is compliant with the NHDES and UNH Stormwater Center, which is kind of the governing stormwater management body that we have here in New Hampshire. It's the UNH specification, if you will, for filter media. With any filtration, or infiltration, you get out what you put into it. And so there's absolutely filtration and infiltration basins in the town, in the state, that get constructed and then forgotten and very quickly can become useless because they're not maintained. And so that's what I say, you get out what you put into it. A good inspection and maintenance plan, which is also a requirement of our AOT permit and also part of some of the town requirements, requires that regular inspection, maintenance, and upkeep of all of these stormwater features. And really with a good inspection and maintenance program, you really hope that it lasts the longevity of the site, if that makes sense. I can't put a direct, hey, I can't guarantee it's going to last X amount of years, but you get out what you put in, and especially on a project like this, our client has a vested interest in, of course, maintaining the site for a very long time.
And for the tractor trailer parking, I understand that there's a waste management plan for stuff like that, but the spaces will be rented out as an as-needed basis. Is there going to be a limitation of what can be contained in those storage trailers as they're parked on an as-needed basis? Yeah,
sure. I think for the most part, these are intended to be empty trailers. It's, hey, I'm going on a 2-week vacation and I have to park a trailer. It's not a long-term storage of actual materials in those. It's not intended to be. But absolutely, the town has guidance and requirements on, of course, hazardous waste and all those pieces that can or can't be stored on site. And I'll tell you, the intent is we're not interested in storing hazardous waste on the site.
Sorry if you've already gone over this. The fertilizer back to planting or seeding on the property, I think we usually say low or no nitrogen, but I didn't see that noted anywhere.
Yeah, so on the master site plan, I think this is kind of a typical note, and I'm happy to kind of make revisions depending on your recommendation. On the master site plan, it's note 10 that says, all grasses and landscape areas shall comply with the judicious use of pesticides, herbicides, and no phosphate slow-release fertilizer, which shall only be applied by a licensed applicator.
Okay, thank you.
Just one question. When do you go before the planning board?
So as of right now, we are scheduled for, I believe, an August 19th planning board meeting. We did get delayed a little bit, some back and forth between us and staff and the applicant and all that good stuff. But as of right now, we're scheduled to appear on August 19th, I believe it is.
If no further comments, I will send a note to the planning board expressing our approval or
You don't have any reservations?
Excellent.
letter of no reservations.
Excellent. Appreciate your time tonight.
Our next order of business is an assessment of, or bringing back up whether MCC shall draft a charter for a subcommittee to oversee small parcels. So, the town is creating that's another thing, never mind, that is on there. The town is creating their own invasives committee, but that still leaves half of our conversation unaccounted for, which is the last time brought up to the in the meeting to create an invasives subcommittee that would also oversee all the small unnamed parcels. So I guess this is a question. Do we... Is it worth creating a subcommittee to take care of all those small parcels in addition to the town's invasives committee? I don't know how to phrase this.
Some more one that's just managing those small parcels or keeping track of them.
Right. Would they be doing anything more than we would through the invasives committee?
So,
We don't know yet
I'm not
what they're
quite
doing.
sure what kind of management would be needed
Yeah.
for most of those parcels.
It would
You're
be
talking about the ones
invasives
that are
management.
smaller, like 18 Woodward Road, not the Mitchell Woods
Right.
or Watkins.
Right.
They really tend to be kind of self-supporting, self-sustaining. I abut 18 Woodward Road. I walk it every week, pretty much, and
But for
it
example, do you
just goes
see
on.
invasive species there?
no.
Okay, well, that's good.
There are some on my adjoining property, but
Right.
none. Most of
mean-
it's a beaver pond.
Even if it would just be to monitor their use and, make sure that the area is not being abused or, I know there's one area that's right up against Babusick Brook and, I feel like we need to just keep an eye and make sure invasive species don't take over and spread from those points and make sure, that area, if enough people walked it, for example, which there is a little trail there, it could become an erosion issue next to the water. I don't know, if that's...
That's,
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the invasives part could be, because we have 2 spots for Conservation Commission
Right.
on the invasives committee. So I'm thinking that maybe at that point, that's sort of a survey that those people will do.
Okay.
If you're talking about maybe kind of separate issues with those properties, then maybe we can discuss that. But I think the invasives part
Can mostly,
would
will
hopefully
mostly
be
be covered by that.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then we could always bring this back up again.
Yeah, so the spot you're talking about on Babusick Brook is probably, there is another Conservation Commission property between French Drive, French Court, and Babusick Brook. And there's not really much access to it. There is a little. It is, I can say, heavily tick infested.
You know, the thing with subcommittees, and we've talked about this
Yeah.
before, and some of you have been here for those discussions, we never want to discourage people from volunteering in creative new ways.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, for the commission or the town. But there are resources, and there's administrative requirements to doing these. One, it puts, you know, there's a strain on community development, because we have to, then, you know, if you have a subcommittee, the charter could say maybe you meet every 6 months, but you, typically they're every 90 days. So there's a posting requirement, there's a minutes keeping requirement. So
And
there
if
is,
the- if
it's
it's not
taxing on,
enough-
yeah,
And
it
if it's
takes
not enough,
resources.
it's not worth it, right?
And if we did have a couple people that are really passionate about one or two or more of these parcels, the last thing they want to do is be pouring their passion into keeping minutes, or making agendas, or posting meetings, or making sure they have quorum. They'd rather out there actually be doing the work. So I might suggest a better approach is if someone wanted to become the ambassador for one or a few of these properties, we could always put them on an agenda, have them come in
Yeah.
here once every 6 months and give us an update.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a subcommittee. It could be
Okay.
And a process for reporting something they feel needs attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm the one that, is there any more discussion of this topic? Then we can move on to appointment. There's an appointment of Kimberly Berger to the Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee as a full member with a term to expire June 30th, 2028.
Did we meet with her previously? I'm trying to remember. I know we met
I'm-
with
I don't
someone.
remember
I'm not sure if we did. I know that Ellen obviously would be the person to introduce her to us and vouch for her. Has Ellen vouched for her in the past? It would just make things a lot easier if she has.
I don't recall any.
I think we met with, I remember meeting with someone, they take their dogs and their kids and their birds, their pet birds, and out there. I don't think this was the.
We already had appointed them, I believe.
Yeah, right. So I don't think we've met with her before.
However, if the
As far
subcommittee.
as I remember, as far as I can remember, we haven't met with anybody other than the ones I just mentioned.
If the appointment is in front of us, does that mean the subcommittee has already recommended them for this position?
I don't know. And I also, isn't there supposed to be a statement of, like, I wanna?
Yeah, and I,
Could we,
no, I haven't.
could we
seen-
put this on hold until we?
Yeah, and I
until
can
we have those
request
questions answered?
the statement of interest.
Yeah, and even so, there's nothing stopping her from attending any meetings in the meantime. I know she wouldn't be a voting member, but, yeah, I assume she'll be approved once we have all that information.
Okay, the last item under new business is discussion regarding rare pollinator bees at Wildcat Falls property.
I was reading this, fascinating. I did not know any of
Yeah.
them were there.
Jennifer, you were the one who was with me when she came to speak to us, right?
Right, yeah, we were at the plant sale, and she came up, and so she grew up in Merrimack, is currently out in New York State, working at a college, but comes back frequently, and she was telling us that she had identified a lot of these rare bees out in Wildcat Conservation Area, so it was really interesting to hear, and she was very, I think, eager to give us more information if we wanted it.
Yeah.
She's not reaching out to us for any kind of action? Okay.
No. I I did want to suggest that we report these rare pollinators to UNH and Department of Agriculture to let them know. And even we'll forward the email so they can, look up Molly Jacobson is actually a.
So most of these, and she notes, are in the right-of-way, so that's not conservation land, correct? Or is it?
It is conservation property, but there's a
Yeah.
right-of-way for the power
Right, there's
company.
an
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought it was the other way around.
And is that actually on our property, or is that on the state-owned parcel
It's-
next
it's
to it?
both.
It's both, okay.
Roughly equally. So given these interesting rare pollinators, going back to our previous discussion with the businessman in town who was looking at places to put bee colonies, this would take Wildcat out of.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, we actually talked about that
Yeah.
day, that they may compete with these bees.
Yeah.
This might be silly, but for the right-of-way, if power company has a right-of-way, if they were to go in and do work, they don't, like, spray or anything for their workers or anything, do they?
I would think not,
Right,
no.
okay.
And in fact, it's because of their work that this habitat exists. So I think they're,
They're aware that it's Conservation Commission property and there are rules, and it's also waterfront or riverfront.
So lots of
and
rules.
There are strict rules about what they're allowed to use.
I want to look all these up now. Okay, I will send an email to UNH and DOA, just letting them know. Under discussion, possible action regarding other items of concern, we have appointment of 2 MCC representatives to the Invasive Species Subcommittee. And yes, you all predicted I will volunteer. I volunteer.
Just a clarification, it should be committee, not subcommittee, since it's its own committee.
Oh, yeah, it should be just committee. Thank you.
So what does that process look like? We nominate and they go before the appointment committee and then the council?
I don't think they need to go before the committee. I think that's just, we will nominate them, and then it goes straight to town council.
I
Anybody,
think so they
for
only
the
have
members of
7
the.
options, right? Or 9
Hmm.
options. They only have 9 options, they can't really be picky.
Right, yeah, so the members of our committee do not need to interview, but the members of the public who apply will go through an interview process.
Are alternatives allowed to be appointed, because they are voting
I-
members at times?
I would assume so.
Danielle, how busy
They
are
are
you?
considered members.
Yeah.
Okay. I would think so, because they can be on subcommittees as.
There are full members and
Okay.
alternates.
Does anybody else volunteer?
I don't know if
Already?
Gage has any interest or time, of course, he's
I
not here.
get the
but-
feeling he doesn't have time.
Yeah.
Karis, I'm very interested in this. It's not possible for me to do this
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, yes,
If
we've
there-
had this
If there is an
conversation.
opening, because nobody stepped
Yeah.
forward, that may happen. I may be able to do that if the opening is not filled, but I just can't do it right now.
So
Yeah.
Danielle.
Is it the meetings twice a month, or is it every 90 days?
It
or-
would probably,
Hasn't been established yet, since
Yeah.
it's just forming the committee, so the committee will have to decide on that, but I would assume probably once a month at this point, I'm not sure.
I just jumped on Parks and Rec. I would.
So I don't know if he's a resident of Merrimack, but the forester that was with us on the Watkins Forest Walk was both knowledgeable and passionate about invasives.
well, if he's a member of the public, then.
He doesn't live in town.
I have no
Yeah.
idea.
No, he doesn't,
All
yeah.
right.
Steve, what's your schedule like? Oh,
I'd
you
love
have
to. I don't
4
think I can
kids?
fit
No?
this in,
Okay.
no.
Eric, how's that?
I'll have to know the schedule of the meeting, because, did we talk about this last meeting, that, was it like, I can't remember if it was this or it was a different committee, that it was probably gonna meet in, like, the middle of the day, or is that a
Oh.
different committee? I'll have to check last week's minutes, or last
I don't
meeting's.
think there's been any established meeting times or days or anything yet.
Tough for a lot of people, including me.
I mean, it could possibly, I'm not sure if, that might be preference because we do have the DPW
Yeah.
director on it, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Is it required through town council to have 2 MCC representatives? There has to be 2 on the.
Ideally, we fill the 2, because there's 2 spots.
There's maybe 2 spots, but they don't make it to every meeting.
But I think it's okay, and we're not going to be appointing until our August meeting, which is until the 21st,
Mhm.
so if we want to go ahead with appointing you to it today, and then we check with Gage and Ellen, see if they have any availability, we could do that.
Yeah, we can do that. And then
If they
backup,
don't- if
the
they want
backup.
to, I'll do it.
Okay. I think it's just important that at least one representative's at every meeting, right?
Yep.
What do you mean by backup?
If no one else will step up, I guess.
Okay,
If you're ready,
okay,
I'll make a
okay.
motion.
If
But
no
what,
one.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Make a motion to appoint Karis Welch as the representative from
I
Conservation
really would
Commission
like
to
do
the
this, but
invasive
it's not in the
species
cards right
committee.
now. Yeah.
I will second.
Any discussion? Any objections? What do I say? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? All abstaining? The ayes have it. It was 7 ayes, 0.
Thank you for volunteering.
Do I need to send an email with this, or do you bring the names?
Probably best if you send that
Okay.
to, probably just send it through, I'm not sure. Yeah, send it to Becky, yeah.
Okay. What's her last name? Thank you. Okay. Next item of discussion, discussion regarding potential education opportunities. Okay, so I don't think I have anything. Well, actually, we had a good, we can give an update on our table at the garden club. Tom was there for the first half and Jennifer was there for the second half, and I was there the whole time. And we had some good conversations with people about invasives. We had at least one, maybe 2 people point out, why isn't poison ivy on the list? And then we had that conversation. And we are still working on, if you haven't already, please make sure your subcommittee or the property kiosks have the information about the Conservation Property Challenge. Some of them are also available at the library. They've been posting them for us. I finished all the text for pages on our website about invasives for the community. They just eventually have to be.
I have not yet uploaded them to the website. I
It's
forgot
pretty
the
recent.
magic mojo involved in creating a new left-hand navigation item. Took me a while to figure it out the first time, but I did,
Yep.
so.
And now you have to like write down every step so you
Yes.
remember it, right? Yep. So hopefully we'll get that up there on the website and then we can start posting it. I emailed the person that Gage connected me with on the school board weeks ago and haven't heard back. So I think who's the chair of the school board?
Lori Peters.
Okay, I think that's the name I have. Good. I can email her directly with the same questions and comments. It was about the student representative, whether there has been one decided, and whether we can please make sure that they are aware of meeting times and have the time to commit
So I
beforehand.
think that goes through the principals. You may want to go through the high school principal too, or copy him
Yeah,
on that.
copy, okay. I can do that.
Can I bring up something else unrelated to what you were just talking about? I don't get on Facebook. Very, very seldom do I get on Facebook. But my wife is on it every day. And somebody made a post on one of the forums, I think yesterday or the day before, that she showed me, my wife showed me, saying that she had been out walking in the Watson Park area, leading over to Wildcat Falls. And she was having trouble because she didn't think there was enough signage. So I private messaged her back and said I would bring it up. Bring it up here. I know that Eric. I mean, I've been out there and I don't see anything wrong with the.
I think
the
finding the entrance to that trail, I tend to agree with her. I was there recently.
Okay.
I knew where it was, so I knew how to get to it, but like, if you just know it's at Watson someplace, you can walk around in a whole loop until you find.
Yeah,
the
I
entrance to
think
the
she
trail.
she found the trail, and then I think she got confused about, like, where do I go here? For some reason, I ended up with a whole bunch of trail markers in my garage. I can't do it this week, but I can take a walk out there and just bring my trail markers with me, and if I think there's anything that needs to be done.
Is that part of the trail our prerogative?
It
I
belongs to
believe
the
so.
town center committee, and then some of it belongs to the school, once you get a little bit into the trail. But I don't think they will mind if we put
Okay.
trail markers up.
Yeah, I believe, because literally speaking, the land is owned by the school or the school district.
Right.
But we were given permission last year at least to
Maintain.
clean up the
Okay.
trails and put up the signs.
So
in.
if we're maintaining the trails, then we're maintaining
Yeah.
the trails.
And when I put up the markers, I intentionally didn't put too much up there because I just wanted to keep enough to like show the trail without basically just filling the forest with signs. That was
Yeah.
my idea. It was an
Okay.
intentional choice, but
My trip
Yeah.
along the trail, it seems like it's a very obvious trail,
Mhm.
and it's bounded on one side by the river.
That's where I
and on the
wondered.
other side by pretty
I
dense
actually,
forest.
before the markers went up, the trail markers went up, I went out there and I had a couple spots where I thought, okay, which way am I supposed to go here? So, I haven't been out since, well,
Okay.
again, I know Eric put up some markers, but,
I had been out before the connection was made
Yeah.
past the fire department to the
Yeah.
road.
I walked that trail a lot, and that after the little section that the high school put out with the seats that overlook the river for the outdoor classroom, there's a couple side trails that you go off and kind of lead either to like a fishing spot on the trail or lead all the way back around to the main trail. So I think that's where some of there's like 2 or 3 spots before the bridge, after the outdoor classroom, in between, that are a little
Okay.
confusing.
So yeah, if you have multiple people going out there being like, where do I get confused? Just nail them.
And Tom, if you
find 'em.
need some, I have some aluminum nails
I
for
have,
putting the trail markers up.
I have thousands.
Okay.
Just for consistency, I think, Eric, you put up white markers? Okay.
wait.
Because the main part of Wildcat is all blue. So
The Wildcat Loop Trail
Yeah.
is blue,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, then I'll put white up until we get to where the blue markers start being.
Yeah, because
start
the
showing.
original signs actually were white. There were signs there like years ago, but the trees have outgrown them, and so that most of them
Okay,
have come
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah.
Another educational opportunity is National Night Out is next Tuesday at the high school parking lot. If anybody is available to host a table for Conservation Commission, I will be there for town council table, but it might
What
be a good.
time?
5:30 to 7:30.
I am not available.
Meaning a week from tomorrow.
Yes. I was just throwing it
That
out
would be
there. in
brilliant.
case-
I mean, I'll be there as well. I mean, I can see if we can get a spot next to where we're setting up and try to even just have a table with just informative pamphlets or something out for sure.
Yeah.
We have informative pamphlets.
Okay.
I have a box of them.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll just
Okay.
email Matt.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be there. I can help you set
Yeah,
up too.
perfect.
I guess this is education related too. Where did I put it? So I contacted Department of Agriculture, the person whose name is on the upland invasives pamphlets, and to see if we could get the booklets and to see if we can. They also make a poster with all of the banned invasives, and he said, "Yeah, we have those, and we can send them to you. Just how many would you like?" So the posters are like 18 by something. They're beautiful. They would be great for sure to have one anytime we do a table, but they might be also useful for around other places around town. If we wanted to get a few more than just one.
Might be nice to have one at the transfer station. If we could
Transfer station.
Laminate one and.
We can give one to the library
Kiosks.
that can use kiosks. Yeah, if they're not too big, they're pretty big. Empty kiosks, let's make them not empty. Okay, so maybe, do we get 10 and just keep a few for opportunities, and we can give them to schools and if they
It
would like
doesn't
them.
hurt to have extras.
Yeah, and I was thinking 100 booklets, and then we can keep them and hand them out at, again, when we have tables and people would like physical booklets.
Yeah, we had a lot of people asking and saying, how do I identify any of these things? So-
Yeah, and if ComDev is okay with it, we could keep a stack on the, where they have informational materials for residents and let people know. Is that all kosher? Is that all? Okay.
And if anyone wants to know what these posters look like, I actually have one at my office, and I actually took a picture of it
Oh.
for something like this, but I took it, it was months ago, and I just never got around to it. So if anyone wants to see what these posters look like, I do have that on my phone. I'm not gonna pass my phone around, but Andrew can see it.
It's a beautiful poster. I love this poster. It has like 4 images
wow,
of
okay.
all of the things.
And I zoomed in on like parts, and so they have explanations of each plant.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion possible? Oh, possible
I
inaction?
have 2 items to go through.
Okay.
First, a mention was made by email a while ago about our website not being HTTPS, not being secured. I've been in contact with ComDev and the town council. We can get a certificate from GoDaddy for $167.76 for 2 years. No vote is required. This would be using ComDev money. Do we want to go ahead and get our website secured? If we at any place ask for people to submit something or enter their name or address or anything, we should have it secured.
We don't need any vote, so, I mean.
We don't need a vote,
We
but
don't need a vote,
just
just
a
an
verbal
informal.
agreement, this is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, please.
And second,
And you're taking care of that, to clarify?
I am taking care of
Okay.
that. I will talk to Stephanie tomorrow.
Thank you.
I recently was approved to join SORLOC, the Sauhegan River Local Advisory Council, and we had our first meeting, actually was here in Merrimack, about a week and a half ago. And before the meeting, we did a small guided tour of Wildcat Falls in weather that makes today look downright chilly. It went well. They were very interested in the property. They were very interested in the river frontage along the property. I showed them some of the nice things about it, and then attended my first meeting and starting to get in sync with the commission. They did ask about the upcoming winter carnival, about getting a table and seeing if they could arrange to get a table next to ours or, somehow adjacent to ours so that you would see them at the same time. I don't know how we get tables for the Winter Carnival.
You sign up through Parks and Rec, so they'll
Okay.
post it closer to the event, but usually
Okay.
it's at least a month
And
ahead of
that's
time.
usually in like late February?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they moved it up a little bit in February to try to get snow, which worked out this year, so, yeah, so we just have to kind of keep your eye out for the, and send them the link when it comes
Okay.
out.
If one of you happens to notice it, since I am not on social media of any type, if you could drop me a line.
Matt, he does, I think I don't know if you enter your email and he sends out emails for every event. So you get the email, I don't know if you sign up through Parks and Rec website, but
I think he'll
I get 'em all,
automatically
yeah.
reach out to Karis
Yeah.
and Helen and ask them, can you do this?
And my
again?"
wife will probably find out through the VFW, so.
Yeah, Matt emailed me in January of last year, I think me and Ellen last year, and just asking us, and it was sort of a mass email, I think he sent out to a whole bunch of people asking them if they wanted to sign up for a table, just tables, is that the word?
And if I recall, there's a small nominal fee for it?
No.
No? Okay.
Along that line of advisory committees, the Lower Merrimack River Local Advisory Committee needs 2 more members of the Merrimack, or would like 2 more members of the Merrimack community, in addition to Ellen Kolb. Not of the Conservation Commission, just of Merrimack. Is that okay for me to post that on Facebook with the nomination link?
I believe, so the town got the press release, or the,
Okay.
that information also, and I believe Becky's putting together a press release to send out to.
Okay.
And then, we can certainly share that when that's available.
That would be great, so.
Which committee was that? That's
That's
the
the Lower
Lower
Merrimack
Merrimack
Local
River.
Advisory Committee.
You said Stephanie's doing that?
Becky?
Becky, sorry. Where do press releases go?
They send them to what local press is available, so, but they'll also post it like on the social media for the town.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'll keep my eye out for it and let you know so you can share it to the Conservation Commission
Thank
social
you.
media.
I have one thing, a little side bracket to the educational opportunities. I absolutely adore what you've been able to do with bringing the Conservation Commission to light and providing educational opportunities for our community. Would there be any way, maybe me and you could possibly discuss, if we could do like quarterly, maybe just public meetings at the library or something that we could advertise to the public and maybe
Just, like,
address
Talk.
topics, just like if we're going into the winter months of proper storage for, snow de-icing materials, or like different quarterly aspects that the community could come learn about or something like that. I just feel like the community wants to be involved, but I don't think a lot of people know that the commission, what it does or what it serves or stuff
So,
like that.
like, community conversations with the Conservation Commission? Where we just have 2, not in excess of 2, members of the commission, like, go do conversations at the library for the public? And just like, they can just be like listening sessions to, like, hear their concerns and stuff? Would there be any?
Maybe I would have a topic or nobody's gonna come, but like you
Yeah.
have, in September, you have an educational program set up, right?
Yes, but we're not the ones giving the talk. So,
I think it's fine. Do you feel like it needs to be the Conservation Commission, or it's something it could be hosted by a Conservation Commission? Either.
I'm open to anything. I think
Okay.
just having the opportunity for folks to come in and share ideas or
Yeah.
concerns, not necessarily in a, not intimidating environment, but something that's a little more
Yeah,
lackadaisical,
casual.
more inviting.
is there anything that would prevent conversations with commissioners, kind of like, or like coffee with commissioners sort of thing?
I think we try to do this at some of the other events we do. We try to do this at the Winter Carnival. We certainly
Yeah,
try to do
we'd
this
sit
at the
and
Seedling
talk to
giveaway,
people.
where we connect
Yeah.
with 100 people. Just be careful about, I think you hit the nail on the head. Don't create a public hearing. Make sure
Yeah.
it's less than 2 people,
Yeah.
not something we need to put an agenda out for.
Right.
Or publish
Yeah.
minutes and do all those things.
And if no one came, and if it was just like a, hey, sitting in the library for an hour reading a book and no one came, that's cool. Okay. I just come up with a few dates, bring the dates to you guys, confirm them with the library, and see how that sounds with everyone. Okay. Okay. I went through my binder of papers that I've been meaning to go through, and I highlighted the thing on the paper that made me keep it and not throw it out. So I have a few questions. I had a note about what is do we have a sign for Sklar Riverfront Park at the entrance? We do now?
Yeah.
Like an official, it's tiny?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so people still can't find the park.
And I think the majority of the logo is for the RC field. Like, the majority of the sign is saying that the RC Flying Club is down there.
Well, that's extra confusing. What was the point of us designing a sign?
If I'm wrong, that's, I think, I'm pretty positive.
Okay, but there's something there, okay. At some point, we commented on, I think Andrew brought up, suggesting we streamline the process for a hunting stand request. But do we only ever have one person come in requesting to set up a hunting stand every year? Or we have multiple?
I remember the feedback we got from Fish and Game. We asked for clarification on the new rules, because it did change last year. And the rules for stands and cameras are the same. It is municipally owned land, it's managed
Okay,
by
yep.
us. But it wouldn't be any different than a state park, is provided they're in the window, and they have the name on it. And
Okay,
the
so
phone
they don't
number.
need to come to us?
Don't need to come to
Okay.
us.
Crossed off. Did anybody ever reach out to the town about the non-conservation commission beaver management sites being lumped together with Beaver Solutions?
I did, and I think Eric was supposed to talk with ComDev on that.
Let me check my emails.
Okay, I'm gonna circle that one and come back. Is there any, this hasn't even come up at Sklar, but it was in my notes. Ask to put sign up at Sklar about driving when it's muddy. Does there need to be permission for them to have a sign designed that says, hey, please don't drive here when it's muddy because it ruins the road?
That's a tough one, I think, because that goes back to all the questions about, can you put a gate and all of that. So I'm not sure where Tom left off with conversations with DPW.
Oh, the gate, they told somebody have ComDev do the DPW said have ComDev do the research because we don't have time or resources, but ComDev can't do the research.
I think if we put a sign up, it will probably get burned.
It might, or they might.
It's absolutely nothing that prevents us from putting something in the kiosk that says,
Okay.
please, please be respectful of this road. It's not
Yeah.
paved, it's mud.
Right.
Yeah, if that's town property, where we want to put the sign, wouldn't that have to like go through all kinds of?
Not if you put it in the kiosk.
Oh, I know, in the kiosk.
What if you put it on a tree because the road is not, but the trees are conservation, they're on the conservation. So if you nail it to the tree, or could I just ask DPW if we can?
I think we've heard, the feedback we've gotten in the past is it's harder for DPW to put a sign up because it should, we went through this with the whole parking over here in Wildcat.
Yeah.
It should be tied to an RSA. right?
Oh, okay.
Um,
So is that how we put up signs about no motorized vehicles? Is it because there's a rule about it in the?
Those are tied to an RSA. They're tied to Chapter 111.
Okay,
Which, it's an
Okay.
RSA. The town council's voted on it.
we'll cross that off.
What if it's a part of the deed? Like, if the
Yeah,
family.
but it's not a
had-
part of the deed that they can't drive when it's muddy.
If it's like
Yeah,
that
the-
one trail near the front, near the river, it's like 3
Oh,
foot culverts
well-
of where the mud trails are.
That one, they're not allowed to drive there anyways, I think.
People
legally,
go out of their
because
way,
it's-
can go back there and do it still, and it's devastating.
Yeah, it is. Are they still doing it? I haven't heard anything from anybody in a while. Have they been mudding?
I haven't physically seen it, but I have heard that
You're
people
talking
are still
about the
going out.
turnaround area? Is
With
that-
the Jeeps and stuff, they go
Yeah,
back into
yeah.
the trails and hit all that before that big hill right there, but
Okay, but there's so that needs to be reported to the police, because there are literally no motorized vehicles. But then the police don't do anything, which is why we would like.
Well, they did,
Gain
last time they
cameras.
did clarify that they did reach out to people the last time that there were people caught on camera. So I don't know where it stands with getting the new cameras up.
Oh, he's working on ordering them.
Yeah, so hopefully that would deter people.
Yeah. So we'll see. One
But I
step
think
at a
for the
time.
actual, like, road leading in, there was a lot of back and forth on what is the classification of that. And
Yeah. Yep. We'll start with the cameras. And then I had another question written somewhere. Do scouts, so here's something. For volunteers to volunteer for the Conservation Commission, there has to be a town employee or commissioner present at the event. When scouts ask to do projects on our property,
Like
does
an
this
Eagle
new
Scout
rule
project?
mean, right, does this new rule mean that it does not?
No, so if they are volunteering for the Conservation Commission's putting something on, then yes, they need to fill out the forms.
Okay.
Everything needs to be approved. If it's scouts are going out to do a project, then they fall under
Their
scout
scout
leadership
rules.
and. scout-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so would that apply to if another group wanted to do a volunteer, like let's say a church group wanted to do a volunteer project on a property? Would they fall under their own insurance, their own as well?
Because I would, one, make sure they have insurance.
Okay.
And then two, that probably should be something that this commission decides whether or not
Right.
you're approving them to do
To do the
that without a conservation commission member.
Because I'm just trying to imagine where everything falls for
Yeah,
the
I
new
mean,
rules.
sometimes it's gonna be on a per-case basis, and we're gonna have to just look into it. So,
Okay.
but if you're, scouts are probably the most common, or NEMBA going in and doing
Yep.
stuff, they fall under, as long as it's not something we're putting on,
Okay.
they fall under their
Their own,
insurance and
okay.
their rules.
Okay, that is everything on my very long, I finally get to recycle all those papers list. But let me double check there are no mystery papers here. No. No mystery papers.
Do you want me to give the Mitchell Woods update now? Okay. So we had the Mitchell Woods site walk, and there were a few of us present there. So the forester does not recommend any harvest of the property at this point. There is a lot of actually kind of wetlands area. He felt that disturbing certain areas would just lead to more invasive issues.
Mhm.
He pointed out a spot where there had been a microburst at some point, and that had just filled in with invasives. Let's see. So the thing we do need to address is the invasive species in the landing zone. So the landing zone for the harvest of Watkins is on Mitchell Woods property, and that's filled in with invasives.
Did he identify what they were?
There was a lot.
Yeah.
So it was, there's something olive.
Autumn olive.
Yep, autumn olive. Of course, there's bittersweet everywhere. He pointed out a couple, I don't know if you guys remember any of the others, but.
But
there were a
knotweed was
couple.
not on the list. Japanese knotweed.
There was no knotweed.
No, I
either.
don't
Okay.
think there was knotweed, yeah.
Okay. That's a relief anyways, because.
Yeah, so the issue is that they will bring logging equipment in, and
Yeah.
that will transfer that through into
Yeah.
Watkins and spread it around. So he will need to address it. Now, this forester is certified in handling invasives, so he would handle it. It sounded like, and you guys jump in at any point from things you remember, that it probably has to be mowed down first. He would bring in somebody to do that and then treated, which actually may push off the harvest till the spring. He's not sure. They're still working out timelines with all of it. But we would need to decide, because we would need to pay for that invasives management. He did suggest that maybe we pay up front, and then I can bring back to the Watkins Committee a proposal to ask to be reimbursed once the lumber is sold, so that, because we wouldn't be addressing it necessarily at this point unless we were doing the harvest.
I was going to ask, why are we paying for it if it's for the logging, but.
Yeah, so I can certainly, if everybody's amenable to that, I can certainly bring that back to the Watkins Committee and have that discussion. Let's see. He did mention, using caution because it's an aquifer district with whatever they would use to mitigate the invasives. And something on the Watkins Committee we had discussed was doing, working maybe with Merrimack TV to do a recording to talk about the Watkins harvest, and he was very much interested in doing that. And maybe that kind of brings together Conservation Commission, Watkins, and the Invasives Committee, because he said what he would like to do is maybe use one of the outdoor classrooms and do something there where they can actually show things and talk about different things. So it would be kind of a combo of different things that kind of intersect the different committees.
That would be brilliant.
So anything that you heard that I'm missing?
No, I think you took much better notes than I did, but I think that, what Jen said, that would be the path forward probably when I think he was giving us a proposal for what it would cost to.
He said he would follow up with an email to me. I haven't seen it yet, so he will, give us some.
That would be the path forward, where he would chemically and mechanically clear the landing area, treat all the invasives, make sure that that's complete before they use it for for the landing area. So, I mean, I think once we got that quote, we could authorize those funds.
Yeah.
One, it does benefit the commission to remove all those, but I think there probably is a pathway forward once Watkins is harvested to
What company is this
reimburse
again?
that.
So there's Eric Radloff. I forget what the name of his company is.
He also talked about some maintenance and repairs to the entrance road that goes through Mitchell Woods, that there would be some grading and some infill with stone material to stand up to the heavy trucks going in and out of it.
But
And that wouldn't be
that
something
should
we
not
would
be
pay
on,
for.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other business before we move to the minutes? Approval of minutes. Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes for the July 4th meeting as amended.
Second.
Do we have amendments?
I have a few, mostly spelling. Page 1, line 33, it says commission, it should be Commissioner Perkins, to sit, not cite. On page 2, line 61, I think it should be Mr. Butler then explained.
Can you tell me what line that was again?
61?
61?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Page 4, line 147, it says, Counselor Jobin said that she felt the chair of the committee should be a member of the MCC. Oh, that's correct. I was reading it wrong on my end. And then jumping to page 5, 201. I think that should be, the vote was 601 because Vice Chair Kolb abstained.
601. Yeah, you're right.
And the last one I have, all the way at the end of the last page, 377, it gave you a new job, Tom. It says Community Development Department Administrative Assistant.
They added that. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I wonder if Stephanie meant to put her name in, I'm not sure,
Yeah, I
but
don't know what that's
thank
all
you
about.
for, you updated, so it has that line, the respectfully submitted by. But your title's wrong, or it should be her name.
You know what, I'll contact Stephanie and say, what are we doing with that? Like.
Yeah.
Because she does contribute a lot to the minutes.
So I wonder if it should be both of you listed, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll
I've
send
never
her an
noticed
email.
what they are on the bottom of our minutes.
Well, that's a new requirement, a new law where you have to
Oh.
put it, so it is new.
Am I empowered to make that change on, when amending the minutes without anybody approving? The one that Jennifer just mentioned?
Oh, because you didn't.
Like,
Because you didn't write
I gotta
that.
call Stephanie, I gotta email Stephanie and say, how's this supposed to read?
You can probably just email her.
I think what he's saying is, can we vote on it now to approve that without knowing how it's
What she
going to be
Yes.
phrased?
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what? I'll just find out from Stephanie what has to be done, and I'll make that part of the notes, the minutes.
Or we could table approving to the next meeting, whatever. I don't think it's a big deal if we say to edit it based on what Stephanie said, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Would it be cavalier to approve them contingent on the feedback that we receive from community development?
That
I
sounds
think that's
reasonable.
fair. So I don't know if you need to amend your motion then. Does- no.
I wouldn't think so.
Are we ready to make a motion?
No, we already, Andrew
I'm
moved
sorry.
and
Now we
seconded,
vote.
so.
To vote.
yep.
We ready to vote? All in favor of approving the minutes as amended? All objecting and all abstaining? 601.
Right, now comes the fun.
Let me find precise wording here.
Do you have this sheet?
Yes, that is the precise
In your
wording that I
packet.
needed.
You can say it
Um,
right from here. Here, you can just read
The Merrimack Conservation Commission will enter into a non-public session per RSA 91A32D, consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property which, if discussed in public, would likely benefit party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community.
We'll say so moved.
So moved.
Second.
And then vote.
You need a second.
Someone second?
Second.
Steve seconds. Commissioner Perkins seconds. Do we have a vote? Anyhow.
Roll, you need
Yeah,
to
this is
roll
a
call.
roll call.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
Roll call vote. Start there.
Commissioner Eric Starr, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner
Vote yes.
Andrew Duane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Jennifer Jobin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Karis Welsh, how do you vote? Aye. Commissioner Stephen Perkins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Tom Martinson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Danielle Martinson. How do you vote? Melanson, Danielle Melanson. How do you vote? Dang it. Then we, 7 ayes to 0. We will now move into a private, non-public session.
So we have to get confirmation that the tape.